What's up, y'all? Riley here, and it's been a little while since I've done one of these, but I've got a haul finally to share with you of some older books, some books from July, and a couple things from this month, August. So stay tuned, we'll look at some cool stuff. Alright, so like I said, there's a lot of older books, some stuff from July. There really wasn't that much last month. And then I have one more package that was from like the middle of August that is in transit. And with everything going on with the Postal Service right now, it's just kind of bouncing around. I don't know where it is right now, but I know it'll show up eventually. So I'll do a video on that later. No manga in this haul. I'm hoping to get my manga haul in by the end of the week, and that's another package that's been bouncing around in transit. It was supposed to arrive on Saturday, but now it's, what's today, Tuesday, and I don't know, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so some cool stuff here though, some cool things that I'm happy to talk about and happy to have. Only one book from Marvel right now, and that's because a lot of Marvel stuff is coming out next month. I think that the way that Marvel's been doing their new releases, since trying to catch up after everything shut down, was they were doing like every other month. So last month they had a bunch of releases, and then next month they're going to have a bunch of releases, but August was one of the months that there wasn't really much happening from them. But the only one I have is the Immortal Hulk Volume 2 oversized hardcover. This collects, I didn't remember off the top of my head, 11 through 20, so the second chunk of 10 issues of the series by Al Ewing with Joe Bennett. I absolutely love this series. I'm a big Hulk fan. I can show I don't know if it's going to show through my shelf here, but that's my primary Hulk shelf right there. So I've got a lot of Hulk comics, and this is definitely a fantastic Hulk series I absolutely love. I'll probably do a Hulk video later on and show a bunch of, reading order and collections and stuff like that. But anyway, if you haven't been reading Immortal Hulk, I highly recommend it. It's a great kind of superhero horror book, and it does really well to kind of mix the classic Hulk stuff and bring back a lot of the elements of the classic Hulk stories and use them in new and exciting ways. So highly recommended. Probably one of the best ongoing titles on the stands right now, period. Let's see, what do we have next? I'm going to do all of the other publishers real quick, and then I'm going to go into DC because due to some upcoming video projects that I want to do, I've got more DC than anything on this one. So let's see, from Fantagraphics Books, I've got the Prison Pit Complete hardcover. This is a thick little guy. It's not a very big volume itself. Let me compare it to this is compared to like a standard volume of manga. It's just a tad taller and then a little bit wider. But it is spectacularly thick. So this is the entire Prison Pit series in one collection. The series is a violent and vile kind of monster wrestling space type thing. Just black and white indie comics. I was told about it from several people that I know, and the way they described it seemed like it was something that I would enjoy. So I decided at the price point of this volume, it's got a cover price of $40, and I think on in-stock trades it was like $25 or so. Yeah, I saw the price point and I was like, you know what, I'm going to jump on that because the 6 individual volumes were going for way more than that. Now, to kind of give a good point for the individual volumes, the dimensions on those are a little bit larger than this hardcover. Not huge, they weren't standard size paperbacks or anything, but they are a little bit bigger than this. So if you want the biggest presentation of it, you might want to hunt those down. I think the prices have gone down since this wound up getting solicited. But this is a really nice looking hardcover. Just the build of it is really nice. It's nicely stitched together, so there's no problem with opening it up. The spine doesn't feel like it's going to come apart or anything. So anyway, I'm pretty both excited and nervous to read this because I don't know what to expect from this. All I know is there's a lot of really disgusting violence in it, but you know what? I'll check it out. Some people that I trust recommended it, so we'll see what happens. And then I've got a one Boom book and then a bunch of Dark Horse stuff. So the only book I got from Boom was the Angel Season 11 hardcover from Boom. So this was the material that was published by Dark Horse originally. And Dark Horse stopped doing their Buffy books at season 10? I'm looking at my books right now. Yeah, so they did library editions of seasons 8, 9, and 10, and then Boom came in and released the library edition for 11. And then they also did Angel and Faith library editions for seasons 8 and 9, I guess. I'm trying to see, or just 9, because I don't think there was an Angel and Faith series during season 8. But they never did the Angel stuff for season 10, which is kind of annoying. But then Boom went ahead and did 11. So I'm hoping that Boom goes back and fills in that gap and does a library edition for the season 10 stuff. And then I hope that there's also something further released for all of the season 12 stuff, because there's not that much. I think the Buffy season 12 was only like a 4-issue miniseries or something like that. It's been a while since I looked into it, so I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, so cool hardcover book. I like the way that Boom has tried to make these match in size, at least. These are the same exact dimensions as the Dark Horse books, so that's really cool, because usually Boom's books are a different dimension from that. And speaking of Dark Horse, I've got a bunch of books from Dark Horse here. I kind of wrapped up getting some Alien stuff since... So we already knew Alien was eventually going to go over to Marvel. Since Disney bought Fox and Alien is a Fox property, eventually the rights to the comics would not be with Dark Horse anymore. And it's been, a few years since the rights have transferred, so they got to continue writing and publishing more Alien comics for quite a while. And they even have a couple things, at least one thing is still ongoing at Dark Horse. And one of the last miniseries that they did was Aliens Dust to Dust, and this is from Gabriel Hardman, who has done a really awesome job. I love his artwork, but he's done a lot of work over at DC and over at Marvel and stuff like that, so I was excited to buy this one. I've read the miniseries and it was pretty fun stuff, so I would say if you're an Alien fan, if you're a fan of the movies and stuff, this is a good little miniseries. It's not that expensive. I think it was like a $10 trade on In-Stock Trades. And then as for the rest of the Alien related stuff, as were a lot of people during this time, I wanted to get those library edition hardcovers. And I didn't rush on getting them. I didn't try and grab them from, different sites when they were pumped up in price and stuff. I did have to kind of get a old damaged reader copy of the Predator library edition, which is fine. I didn't spend that much on it. I found it on I found it on eBay. And it seems like maybe it was an old library copy, or just very well used, but it's completely intact, even though it's kind of worn on the outside, and everything looks beautiful on the inside. So that's all that counted. So yeah, I grabbed that one off of eBay, and then I had the main two that I wanted from these library editions were, of course, the two Aliens books. So that's Aliens, and then the second volume. This is the original comic series. This one has Nightmare Asylum and Earth War from Dark Horse. And I really wanted these because I wanted those to match up on the shelf with the Alien Predator AVP Prometheus hardcovers that they've released and the Alien Defiance one. And I was very fortunate in that I have amazing friends, Jess and Ryan. Jess from the channel Omnidog's Vault. If you don't know his channel, then definitely go check it out. He is an amazing guy, and a really great friend. They got me the two hardcovers as a birthday gift. My birthday was in July, and it was really awesome because I was, it's been a hard time for everyone. I was not having a great day, and I saw the package arrive and opened it up, and these two beautiful hardcovers were inside, and it really made my day a lot better. So these are really awesome. And of course, now we know that with the rights going over to Marvel, a lot of people were worried, oh, what's Marvel going to do with them? Are they going to be reprinting stuff? And that's why a lot of people jumped on these, was because they wanted to get these stories in some sort of nice premium format. And it was announced but maybe last week. My buddy Omar over at Near Mint Condition was able to announce that Marvel is in fact going to be doing omnibus editions of the classic Dark Horse Aliens stories. So the omnibus, the first one that's been announced, and he's, gone on to say they're definitely doing more than one, depending on how the sales go. And I imagine they'll sell pretty well. But that omnibus will include the material from both of these, as well as more stuff. Now, I'm definitely going to be keeping these because of many reasons. Number one, the sentimentality of the gift and stuff and what it meant, having someone send that to me. But also because this is a larger format than what we get from the Marvel Omnibus Edition. And it is a much more premium format. It has nice, thicker pages, a different presentation of the material. There's additional materials in here that might not be included in the Marvel version. So there's a lot of reason to hang on to those hardcovers. So if you bought those, if you know, I don't want to say panic bought or whatever, but if you did and you bought those before they announced the omnibus editions, I wouldn't feel too guilty and upset because you're like, oh man, I went out and bought those real quick and now they're doing an omnibus and it kind of invalidates it. No, it doesn't invalidate it. It's a different format. It's a even more premium, honestly, even though there's less material in there. And then the omnibus carries a lot more material than those two carry that before this have only been reprinted in smaller paperbacks. So there's positives to both. And then I have one more of those hardcovers, and that, of course, was the Aliens versus Predator one, and that just matches and goes on the shelves with the rest of them. So I've got the whole family here, except for that silver Terminator one. I don't have that one. I still don't know. It's kind of up in the air if I want to grab that or not. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. These are beautiful volumes, and like I said, they look great on the shelf next to all those other, the Fire and Stone, Life and Death, and also Aliens Dead Orbit is that same size, so a lot of cool library-sized alien books from Dark Horse. Alright, now to the DC stuff. First I'm going to show the two new books that I got, and then all the older stuff. So first was the Justice League of America by Brad Meltzer oversized hardcover. Meltzer, of course, is probably best known over at DC for doing the Identity Crisis miniseries, and that one is very, some people really enjoy it, other people really don't. It is kind of up and down as far as opinions go on that, but as far as I've ever seen, most people genuinely talk really well about his Justice League of America run. And I've never read it, so whenever I saw that it was going to be getting an oversized hardcover, of course I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to jump on that. My biggest fear is that in reading this, I'm going to enjoy it so much that I'm going to want to buy the rest of this run on Justice League of America. I think that's what Dwayne McDuffie and then James Robinson comes on after doing the Cry for Justice miniseries. And then I think it all leads into the whole rise and fall of Green Arrow and stuff, and that stuff that leads into JT Kroll. And I know there's a lot of hesitance on that stuff, and there was a lot of negativity, but one of the things I really like to do is actually visit those really panned comics and stuff and just make my own opinion, because it's stuff that usually I ignored when it was coming out because in singles I didn't have the money to grab something that most people absolutely hated, and now I'm like, okay, it's a lot cheaper buying the trade of that. I'm going to check that out. Anyway, I'm completely going off on a limb here, but I'm excited to have this hardcover. It is a really nice looking book. It has the wraparound cover. This collects issues 0 through 12 of the run, plus a couple issues of JSA that are by Jeff Johns. It's also got a wraparound cover for the cover boards. So a lot of really awesome looking stuff in here. I'm really excited to read this book. And also I got the 5th oversized hardcover of Batman by Tom King. So this would be the penultimate hardcover. Now they haven't announced the 6th volume yet. They haven't solicited the fact they're going to do the 6th one, but if they do, that would be the final volume. That would collect all of the City of Bane material. I think it would have to collect the last 3 paperbacks worth of his material, and that's when he left the ongoing Batman series, and now he's going to eventually be writing the Batman Catwoman 12-issue maxi series. So that's still in the works. I've seen Clayman posting some teaser images of artwork from that. Just unwrapping this one right now. So this one has some pretty good material in there. I think the Nightmares arc was in here. And then artwork, of course, by Mikel Janin and Jorge Fornes. Yeah, the Nightmares arc was definitely a highlight for me, and that's because I have a weak spot for Professor Pig, and that might be because I'm such a big Morrison fan, and Pig was one of Morrison's creations. But yeah, I definitely really enjoyed this story, and it has a really great artwork throughout. So I hope that they do wind up doing the 6th hardcover to wrap up that entire run. If not, at least we have up to volume 5. Everything's good there. And let's see, one more oversized hardcover. This is a much older one. I've been putting off on getting this for quite a while, but I finally decided to jump on the oversized hardcover edition of The Filth. This is a Grant Morrison Vertigo title from years back. I read this probably 10 years ago or more, and it is something else. It was, I didn't get a ton out of it. It was definitely one of the weirder things by Morrison that I had read, but I want to revisit it, and I also, just being who I am, I was like, okay, well, I want to go ahead and buy the hardcover. I have everything else of Morrison's that I can in oversized editions, so especially his Vertigo work, so let me go ahead and grab this one. Yeah, this is pretty deep Morrison content. If you are a fan of Grant Morrison's work, this is definitely not at the surface level of his stuff. I would consider stuff like Animal Man is kind of a surface level Morrison story, and then it just kind of dives into more obscurity and cerebral work. But I absolutely love Grant Morrison. Like I mentioned, I'm a huge Morrison fan. I mentioned about the Professor Pig in that Batman book. So I've read pretty much everything that he's done, and there's a lot that I've learned about comics and life and everything from Morrison and his work, and I just really appreciate him because if you've ever seen him talk about books and about his writing of comics, he just loves the medium so much, and that's all he wants, is for other people to have that same love for the comic book medium. It's never about him trying to be self-indulgent and deep in his works. It's all about him trying to open people's minds and show them how amazing comics can be. The Talking with Gods movie, it was a documentary that was about Grant Morrison and stuff. That was a fantastic documentary, and it gives a lot of insight into him and how he is as a writer and how his brain works with stuff. But anyway, going off on a tangent there. Now, the rest of my DC stuff, this is all material that I've been collecting because I'm going to be doing some upcoming videos about these imprints at DC, and I kind of mentioned it in comments on my New 52 Most Wanted Omnibus video. So let me just grab these and go through them. The first stack is, I think the best book to show this is from Young Animal is Doom Patrol. This is like the quintessential Young Animal book. So I'm going to be doing a video, about Young Animal, about the imprint that was started several years ago by Gerard Way. Of course, Gerard Way is the front man of the band My Chemical Romance, but he's also been known for comics for a little while. He did the Umbrella Academy series over at Dark Horse years ago, and of course that's found a lot of success and eventually got a Netflix series which has found even more success. And so eventually he would be able to do this whole imprint over at DC. And his book, the one that he wrote himself, was Doom Patrol, which was an awesome gig for him because Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol, going back to Morrison, is a lot of what inspired him in writing his Umbrella Academy series. So he gets to do the 12-issue Doom Patrol run, and there was a bunch of other stuff. He kind of curated all the material that came out of Young Animal, and there were, I think, 4 series that started, and I have volumes from from all but one of those initial series. So we had Jody Houser's Mother Panic, which was a series with a new hero set in Gotham, and then we had the Cave Carson series by John Rivera. I think Gerard Way co-wrote that one, and that one had, there's the second volume of that one, and these are all recent acquisitions. And then that one had a 3rd volume. Cave Carson has a Interstellar Eye. And then the fourth series was Shade the Changing Girl, which eventually became Shade the Changing Woman. And then there were a bunch of mini-series as well. So we've got the Eternity Girl mini-series, the Bug mini-series, and this was one of the more recent ones, Collapser, which was a joint effort from Simon Oliver with Mikey Way, Gerard's brother. Or sorry, not Simon Oliver, Sean Simon with Mikey Way. And then there's also the big crossover, the DC Young Animal Milk Wars, which kind of bridged from era 1 to the second era of Young Animal. So anyway, I'll talk a lot more about that in the video about Young Animal. I've read every single Young Animal title, but I'm really excited to revisit them because it has been years since I've read some of that stuff. So I'm still missing Shade the Changing Girl, and then the other volumes of Mother Panic, and then of course there's the upcoming Weight of the Worlds Doom Patrol, and then there's also the currently ongoing Far Sector, which is the only still ongoing series from Young Animal. So I don't know if otherwise the line is just done. Maybe that book is going to be relabeled under DC Black Label. Who knows? Anything could happen. And then also the other imprint that I'm going to be making a video about is, hold on, let me grab a good book to show this one, is the HannaBarbara Beyond imprint. Now, they didn't really call it HannaBarbara Beyond once the imprint started coming out, but when they first announced it, that was the name for it. So that's what I kind of choose to call by it. But the main book was Scooby Apocalypse, so I have, that was volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the final volume, volume 6. And then, just like Young Animal, there were 4 different titles from the beginning. There was Scooby Apocalypse, The Flintstones, which is most people's favorite book from the whole HannaBarbara Beyond imprint. And then there was Future Quest, which was really awesome. Basically all of the Hanna-Barbera superheroes being brought together in one ongoing title. And then the fourth one is one of the only ones I don't have, and it was a short series called Wacky Raceland. I actually have that one on the way in the package that's delayed right now. And then we got several miniseries, Dastardly and Muttley by Garth Ennis, Exit Stage Left by Mark Russell. He's the one that did the Flintstone series. Future Quest got a follow-up in Future Quest Presents, which had more stories by Jeff Parker, who had done Future Quest, and then some more stuff not by Jeff Parker. And then there was a Jetsons miniseries, of course, and then I've got the Rough and Ready show. And then, like I mentioned, there was Wacky Raceland, and there was also, I think I have these on the way, also the Hanna-Barbera Meets DC books, so I'll have those in a future haul to show. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing videos talking about both the Young Animal imprint and talking about the Hanna-Barbera imprint, and just talking about all of those different books and the quality or lack thereof, which ones are worthwhile, which ones aren't, and then my own ideas in how I would map omnibus editions of all of that material if it was ever to happen. So that's my haul for right now. Some older things, like I said, but a lot of cool new stuff as well. Hopefully I get those missing packages. I don't want to call them missing. They're not missing. I know they're in transit. They're close by. I know they're in my city, but hopefully I get those delayed packages pretty soon so I can go ahead and do more haul videos, get back to regular and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. By the way, there is a link down below. If you like what I do on this channel and you want to help me out and make my channel the best it can be, there's a link to my Patreon down below. You can click on that, see all the cool benefits that you get if you want to follow me there. Anything helps. It just, most importantly, you get to help me to succeed on this channel and stuff like that. So that's awesome. And then also, as always, I like to shout out to the other channel that I do work on. I join a lot of awesome YouTubers over on the Omnibus Collectors Network. We do multiple shows every single week, a bunch of live shows with a bunch of awesome YouTubers such as Jess, who I mentioned earlier from Omnidog's Vault, and a lot of other people. We just get together, talk about manga, comics, movies, video games, TV shows, anything that we enjoy, anything we're thinking about that week, we talk about it on the weekly shows. So check that out as well. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and get alerts for all the awesome new content and new videos that I have coming out every single week. I think I do about 3 per week is my typical amount. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.